Hi everyone, welcome back to another video for Phantasy Star Online Blueburst. So today's video is probably going to be the final episode of the episode 4 lore playthrough. So in the last episode, we retrieved a meteor sample and we also found that Rupika had run away again. So our mission now is to try and pursue her and try and find out where she is and try and stop her from getting to the meteor fragment. As we discovered in the previous episode, there is some link between Rupika and that fragment, so we need to try and keep them apart from each other. So we're now up to this quest, which is 9-8, the final cycle. Take care, thank you for coming. This is an emergency request. Rupika has somehow disappeared again. In the last episode as well, we realised that one of the soldiers on Pioneer 2 seemed like he was secretly working for Works, so it's assumed that he's maybe smuggled her off Pioneer 2. We were preparing our security for Rupika, but, well, before we knew it. Anyway, that doesn't matter now. We know the scope of Leo Greyheart's project now. Rupika is a neo-Newman, and is somehow the key to completing his weapon. All that matters is that we keep Leo from using Rupika to finish this. Taker, you must locate Rupika immediately. This isn't just a job anymore. Everyone's lives are in your hands. We believe that Rupika is headed for the subterranean desert. The teleport will take you to the upper layer of the desert. Be sure to search everywhere as you progress deeper. That is all. Good luck. Our future is in your hands. You must bring Rupika back to us. This project must not be allowed to succeed. Help us. So even Tyrell is obviously very concerned about this now. Leo's plan is now almost complete. We cannot allow his project to succeed. It must be stopped. If not, then the tragedy that would befall us would be beyond mere words. The Meteor really was the cause of this all. If only our analysis had been completed sooner. Still, there's no sense in dwelling on the hypothetical. You're our only hope now. Go to it. So we need to try and stop Leo from completing his designs for the Mother Project. Those guys in uniform are being really arrogant. Well, I'm not going to let them intimidate me. Good for you. My hunch was right. Things are getting worse. We should have examined the Meteor incident more carefully. The Meteor, Leo, and Rupika. If only we'd found the link sooner. I just knew there was something fishy about that Meteor. All I've got are these thoughts, though. So then, what's going on? So again, although she knows a bit about the Meteor, she doesn't really know anything about what's going on because, again, Pioneer 2 are obviously keeping this very secret. I'm so scared. I won't stop shaking. I don't understand it, but everyone looks really, really scared. What's going on? Everyone's acting like it's going to be the end of the world. What's happening? Tell me. So again, this is just more evidence that things are being kept secret from the public on Pioneer 2. That girl's missing again. I have a bad feeling about this. It looks like you're on an extremely important assignment. I can see it in your face. I won't ask what you're doing, but my hopes go with you. So this guy seems like he's loyal to Pioneer 2. It was this guy before, who was the works one. I don't know where to go or what to do, but it's too late. The time for the captain and the military is nigh. Then the fun begins. Yeah, we'll see about that. So unfortunately this quest brings you down to Subterranean Desert 1. And the way this quest works is it is basically a full run through Subterranean Desert. Now again, as normal, we are doing this on normal difficulty just to blow through it faster. But this is quite a long quest. And of course we get another Del Rappy, because why wouldn't we? I think it is rare enemy week, to be fair, so... So although we are in the final quest for episode 4 now, it is kind of interesting because we still don't know really a whole lot, honestly. We know that there is this tie between Rupika and the Meteor, and we know that Leo is wanting to carry out this mother project. But we don't know exactly what the mother project involves completely, and we don't know exactly what Rupika's role in this is. We know that she's... I think it was Black Paper that inferred that she's potentially being used as some kind of like energy storage for the project, but we don't know what that entails. Oh, cutscene. Ash. It's too dangerous here. The resonance is getting stronger. If we keep going, we're going to get caught up in it. Let's just pull back. Just leave the rest to Dr. Montague. Bernie, what are you saying? I know it's foolish to jump into a dangerous situation on an impulse, but I'm not a coward who can just run away after making a bad call. We need to keep going. That girl needs our help. A long time ago, I used to be just as impulsive as you. Know that I now have regrets I can never rectify. I don't want to make the same mistakes I made so long ago. And so, that's why... Shut up and listen to me, Bernie. We don't have time for this nonsense. We have a life to save, so get it together, man. It's true. It really is. I've become a mere shell of my former self, haven't I? I envy you for being so naive to the harsh reality of the world. Come on, pal. Okay, so Bernie clearly needing a bit of a pep talk to get him through. So it looks like the Pioneer 2 are trying to find Rupika, and it's not just me that's looking for her. So again, we do have this consistent squad of people who are looking out for her as well. So if Pioneer 2 are looking for Rupika, you know, it stands to reason that maybe Black Paper and Works are as well. Oh, Father. When it all comes down to it, I couldn't let you do it. Forgive me. I wonder what I am to him now. What sort of a miserable excuse for a daughter am I? Don't crucify yourself, miss. You've accomplished many things as your own person. And he is your father. He will forgive you once he regains his sanity. So in the last episode we saw that the Gilliams seemed to be sort of firmly on Leo's side, so it's clear that since then he's had some sort of a change of heart. Either that or he's deceiving Karen, one of the two. But it looks like he's working with Karen now. But if that's true, then why his entire plan, this whole Heaven Striker project? Now, I think that might be the first time we've heard it called the Heaven Striker project, and if you know PSO Blueburst, you'll know that there is a gun in the game called the Heaven Striker. How come he never told me a thing about the change in his plan? I think the captain thought he knew what he was doing. Maybe he didn't want to put anyone else in danger anymore. There were so many unknowns. Rupika's power, the Meteor. Regardless of what happens, we will deal with the consequences. I see. So my father hid his actions to protect me. If that's the case, then I cannot allow him to face this alone. I'm the daughter of Leo Greyheart. And I won't give up for both our sakes. I understand this. Still, I have a really bad feeling about this. I hope you're ready, Gilliam. None of us can say for sure how this will all turn out. But our faith is all we have. Let's see this through to the end. So quite an interesting cutscene. So we now know that it's called the Heaven Striker project rather than the Mother project, or maybe the Mother project is to create the Heaven Striker. We still don't really know exactly why Rupika is involved. We know that she is something to do with the energy required for it. And it's clearly going to be a very big danger to all of Ragol. So we also heard that Rupika at the beginning was called a Neo-Newman. So I'm guessing that she's some kind of experimental Newman. We know that all Newmans have some trace of D-Factor in them in their DNA, but it seems like Rupika has more of it infused. It also looks like Karen's going to see things through to the end. Now, whether that means she's going to try and stop Leo, or whether she's going to try and help him and hope that he sees sense, we don't really know for sure. Okay, so we've finally written a black paper. So as expected, it looks like everyone is out to find Rupika. So we know that Karen is trying to look for her. We know that black paper is now trying to find her. Pioneer 2 is trying to find her. Rupika. Rupika. Wherever you are, you better be safe. Where are you? Calm down. So Sue feels kind of responsible because she told Rupika to wait and hide, and then Rupika has obviously decided to, to disappear. So she kind of feels a bit responsible. We do know there's some link between them as well going back, but we don't know why they know each other. Sue, this isn't like you. How can you expect me to calm down at a time like this? Don't you know how much trouble we're in because of this Heaven Striker? If he finishes it, then not even black paper can save the day. And more importantly, what if Rupika's dead? Sue. Stop thinking like that. This is exactly the kind of situation where you need to be level-headed. Not even Works has a full grasp on the situation here. If you lose your cool, then you're just dooming yourself to failure. I'm really beginning to regret all of this. I saved Rupika once before. And she has the gall to run off, even when ordered to stay put. I've sworn myself to black paper. Nothing will change my allegiance. But this has nothing to do with them. This is personal. I don't care if it's a personal matter or not. I've got orders. Don't forget, you're my partner on this. So if you're going to be a liability, I'll just leave you here. So, you coming or not? I'm sorry. Master. It's not over yet. And it won't be over unless I give up. Rupika must be okay. Let's go, Master. That's more like it. Remember, you're a member of Black Paper. It's really interesting that because it's the first time you've kind of seen Sue and Kiri, I'm not going to say come to blows with each other, but have quite a big disagreement. So again, we know that there is this personal link for Sue. She said she saved Rupika once before, which whether she's referring to the first time they encountered her in this episode 4 story, or whether she's referring to something previous, we don't know. But it is really interesting to see that Sue is doing this because of a personal matter, not because she's part of Black Paper. But Kiriki's doing it because he's got an order to do it. So he's very much business and doing it as a representative of Black Paper, whereas Sue is doing it for more personal matters instead. But you can tell that Sue was getting very flustered and starting to really worry about Rupika's safety, so it's clear that she does have some sort of connection with Rupika and possibly even cares for her a bit. So what is interesting is that all of these different organisations clearly have different reasons for trying to find Rupika. Obviously Leo was trying to find her to further his Heaven Striker project. Black Paper wanting to find her, Kirik for business reasons. We don't know who he got the order from though. And Sue is obviously doing it for very personal reasons. You've got Ash and Bernie from Pioneer 2 trying to find her to bring her back to Pioneer 2 on behalf of the government. We are essentially doing the same as them. Haha, congratulations on making it this far. Yes, I finally made it. My father. He's here, isn't he? I can feel it. I can feel his presence. He's been waiting. Waiting for me. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm sorry to say, but your dear dad isn't here. You're here for the sake of my plan. Nothing can stop that which I have dreamed of for years. Now, come with me. My name is Root. Oh, What's happening? Is my power fading? No. What is this feeling that's coming over me? This power is starting to overflow. Who are you? No. Stay away. Why? What? What? Hey, what's going on? No. I hear poetry. From so very, very long ago. Where the soul itself is celebrated. It rises up unto heaven. At the moment of death, a purple lamplight. Now, if you paid any attention to the episode 2 lore playthrough, just go and look at what the last quest is called in episode 2. Millennium after millennium. I am that which shall become everything. So that everything in turn shall become one. One with me. What was that? Where did you disappear to? What just happened? Ah, what is this? So very, very strange cutscene, and is quite hard to decipher. So it's clear that Rupika has had some kind of reaction with what we assume is the Meteor, because we are very close to the Meteor now. She mentioned a lot of things, particularly after she disappeared. In regards to that, we don't know if she's still alive or dead. We're kind of assuming that maybe she's dead at this point, but it's kind of hard to confirm that. She was saying a lot of things that are kind of themes of Phantasy Star Online. So she mentioned about the purple lamplight, which I deliberately mentioned. So purple lamplight is the name of the episode 2 ending quest where you fight Olga Floor. She also mentioned about like a millennial cycle, you know, millennium after millennium. There is one thing in Phantasy Star that is on a millennial cycle, which is Darkfalls. So there is a lot of kind of throwbacks to previous Phantasy Star Online episodes, and you can kind of see where this is probably going now. Photon readings are almost off the scale here. Bearing in mind that we also know that photon technology was derived from the D factor, which means that the D factor is off the scale here. Please, be careful. I'm afraid it'll be stronger below. I just know something's wrong with Rupika. Should you fail, it'll be up to me. Please take her. You've got to save Rupika. I don't think I can. Eek. Ah, Take her. I figured it would be you. This is so discouraging. The resignation from the Meteor has overcome Rupika. My treatment didn't work after all. Bear in mind, he's one of the biggest scientists on Pioneer 2. And if his treatment's not working, can't see much will. But she may not be entirely lost to us yet. I said Rupika may not be completely lost to us yet. The fusion is still incomplete. There's still a chance we can save her. But you've got to get to her, Taker. What's going on? My head. When the Mother Project, the Eleanor Project failed, I began anew. Interesting that, isn't it? That the Mother Project was also called the Eleanor Project. What is Montague's Rick Seal called? Eleanor. And there's a reason for that. As far as I'm aware, Eleanor is one of the first Rick Seals to be developed. Using my father's specs and military funding, I designed a weapon. Rupika, a neo-Newman, was the basis for the emotional AI's weapon. The third Mother Project was to unify machines and weapons under works. My father was the originator and had also created Team OO. Interestingly, they call it Team 00 here. Team 00 you're probably not aware of, but there are a couple of items in the game, the Custom Barrier, Custom Frame and Custom Ray, which are all called Custom Ray version 00. It is actually 00 on the items, but for some reason they call it 00 here. Which one is right, I have no idea. They are basically like a military mechanic group. He was developing a top secret weapon for the government. A weapon designed to destroy orbital targets, the Heaven Striker. But a government black paper android hound assassinated him, which is Karik. I discovered this info and got his specs when I got my government post. I finished what he began and made prototypes, but there was one problem. The weapon required an enormous amount of energy to operate. And as if on cue, we found the D factor in the meteors on Coral. We discovered a similar meteor here, close enough to acquire. We needed to bring it down onto Ragol and retrieve it. Retrieving it wasn't difficult, but the D factor energy. The Mag's emotional AI wasn't capable of handling it. But I still had one hope. Rupika. Rupika had the power to control the D factor. So that is interesting. So not only is she infused with the D factor, but she can actually control it. With that, I could complete the project. And yet... what the... So it's clear that he's put a lot of planning into this, but something has still gone horribly wrong that he hasn't accounted for. So all of this just to make a weapon. So he's basically jeopardized the safety of everyone on Ragol, everyone on Pioneer, just to create a weapon. I guess to honor his father's legacy. It's messed up, man. So with that, let's go and try and save Rupika. So this is the actual meteor. This is what has caused all of this. And this is the actual impact zone. You can see it's just essentially a massive crater. So we are as deep underground as we can possibly go now. And there's no obvious signs of Rupika here. We know that something is trying to fuse with her. So let's try and find out what's trying to fuse with her. So Rupika fuses with the Meteor, which awakens this in the background. So this is the final boss. It's actually the only boss of episode 4. And this is Sam Million. So it's essentially a huge worm. It is a dark monster, so it's de facto. The implication, I think, and it's not totally confirmed, but I think the implication with this is that this was hiding in the Meteor, the hit Ragdoll. Because clearly a Meteor this big wouldn't have done all this damage. But that huge statue in the background that it broke out of, I'm guessing is probably part of the Meteor rubble. So I assume that was hiding in the Meteor. The Meteor obviously has the D factor, which would explain why this thing is in the Meteor in the first place. So it's assumed that this is what is trying to fuse with the Rupika. You can see that the Meteor's got this like reaction where it's glowing. So I assume that Rupika is fusing with the Meteor at the moment. Maybe it's Sam Million trying to fuse with her. We don't know exactly what Sam Million is necessarily, but we can assume with all the talk about the millennial cycle that it's probably some sort of link to Dark Falls. Now, the way you defeat this is you basically just destroy one of the red parts and then just attack the crystals. So we'll destroy the first phase. So once you destroy all the crystals on the first phase, it faints. And when it falls over, it actually breaks open part of the level to increase the size of the level. The other reason that we know that this is probably linked to Dark Falls is because one of the themes for this boss, there are 2 different themes for different versions of it because there's a few different versions of this boss, but one of the themes is called Idler the Fanatic Viper. And generally in Phantasy Star, anything that has Idler in the name is connected to Dark Falls or the D Factor. So this guy, overall, I love the boss theme for it, and I like the way it looks, but I've never been a big fan of the actual boss fight. Mainly because when you get to this phase, there's a lot of unavoidable damage. So for example, this beam here, unless you can get behind one of the rocks, which then you can't hit him because you're too far away, you'll take the damage from the beam. So we'll take out Sam Million. Generally what will happen in most times you fight this is you'll destroy one of the crystals, it'll retreat to the center. And then quite often you'll break one here and then it'll go back after doing a nuke. I would like to get it to do its nuke if I can. How many crystals does it have left? You can see it's actually chipping my health down a bit, so it does actually do okay damage. I think it's because some of his attacks seem to ignore your evade. So these missiles, for example, they seem to always hit you. But what you can see is it does end up with a lot of things on screen at once, so it's quite easy to get overwhelmed if you let it get going. So once you get to there, it hits like a HP gate where you can't actually hurt him anymore. So this is his big nuke. So it curls around the Meteor, fires a beam up into the sky. Funny enough, it actually calls in like an orbital strike, which is funny because the Heaven Striker is designed to do that. So you can kind of see where the sort of inspiration for the Heaven Striker comes from. So we'll take out Sam Million. Rupika. Rupika. Who is that? What do you mean? Rupika. Is that my name? You're awake? Oh, Rupika, I'm so glad. Why? Why did you save me? Interestingly, in the background, you can now notice as well that the Meteor's not glowing anymore. So it's clearly only glowing when Rupika is interacting with it. I can't take it anymore. As long as I have this power, I'm just going to be used as a tool. I don't want to live like this anymore. Nobody sees me for the person I am. Nobody cares about my feelings. My voice just falls on deaf ears. All anyone cares about is the power inside me. Why? Why did I have to be born? It would have been so easy to let myself get taken in by that thing. I knew as soon as I heard its voice. I was born on this planet. Here I was born, and so here I shall die. It's interesting that she said she was born on this planet. I'm going to assume that maybe she sees herself as being born from the Meteor, possibly. Or that maybe because she's so inherently linked with it, she feels like she's linked to the planet. That's all there is. Who do you think you are? Leave me. I'm truly alone. You idiot. Are you out of your mind? My name is Sue. It doesn't matter if you don't remember who I am. But you know what? You're not alone. Nobody on this planet is alone. Humans, Newmans, and androids are here together. Military personnel, government workers, ordinary citizens, good people, bad people, normal people, adults, children, the elderly, villains, heroes. None of us are alone. And you were saved this time, not to be used, but because someone cared. A person saved you because they wanted to save you. You aren't alone. I'm not alone. That's right. Huh. Yeah, you're right. We're all here to work together, aren't we? I guess, deep down inside myself, I knew that all along. Maybe if I thought of that earlier, things might have... I'm hungry. Well, it sounds like you're back to normal to me. It'll be okay. Let's head back and get you something to eat, okay? Let's go back together. Alright, time to head home. No, we're going to talk to Rupika first. Let's head back. That's really all we're going to get. Thanks, Rupika. So yeah, there really isn't a whole lot to go on. As I said at the start of episode 4, this whole episode kind of feels like a little bit of an afterthought. There really isn't a whole lot to the story. I mean, we still don't really know why Sue knows Rupika. The only link that we can possibly think of is that maybe it's to do with the Grand Squall quest. Now, I am going to be doing videos on all of the side story quests, so we will cover Grand Squall. That is, as far as I'm aware, the only other main quest that Rupika appears in. So, basically, we have managed to save Rupika from the D-Factor inside the Meteor and from San Million, which I assume is some kind of link to Dark Falls. Again, that isn't really explained either. We've obviously stopped the Heaven Striker project. If you're wondering how the Heaven Striker is in the game, the one that you get, as far as I'm aware, is meant to be like an incomplete version. So with that, we have managed to save Rupika, and we can bring her back to Pioneer 2, where she's going to be safe. And we get episode 4 completed. Thank you for playing. And that's it. So much, a bit like the episode 2 ending, it does cut off very suddenly. There really isn't a whole lot to talk about. So essentially, Leo was doing everything he was doing to try and complete his father's legacy after his father's project was cut short due to him being assassinated. So he was trying to complete the project and required a bigger power source to do it, which was Rupika. He didn't bargain on the fact that Rupika was going to resonate with the Meteor and cause San Million to spawn. Or San Million to awaken. So it's an episode where I feel like there's a lot of build up to it, and you find out quite a bit about the characters, but it doesn't really resolve that well, I don't think. I do think that episode 1 and 2 is a much stronger story overall. So that is going to do it for the majority of the PSO lore playthrough. The reason I say that is because there is still the matter of episode 3. Episode 3 Card Revolution takes place after this. For that, I won't be doing a playthrough of the game because there are several branching paths and there are 2 full stories to do as well, and it would be a lot of work to do it all with all the different branching paths. So what I'm going to do for that is I do have a rundown of the main events that happen from episode 3, and I will probably narrate that and go through the story of episode 3 that way. So that will probably be in one long video. I don't know when that'll be yet. It might be in the next few weeks, but we will probably take a bit of a break from the lore playthrough now. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the lore playthrough of what people will call the regular PSO, I guess. If you do have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments. I realise there are probably a lot of unanswered questions from this. Unfortunately, episode 4 does that it does leave a lot of things open to interpretation and for you to figure out or put your own ideas on. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider liking, subscribing, or joining as a member on YouTube. You can also follow me or sub over on Twitch at Section Skyline, or on Twitter at Section Skyline. And you can also follow me on I have a Discord as well, so feel free to join us over there. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Yeah, hope you've enjoyed the playthrough, and hopefully I'll catch you in some other videos. Yeah, see you later.